instead of saying, well, we deserve to have more candidates if you don't like the candidates that have already thrown their hat in the ring.
Who? I'm going to ask this every fucking time. Who? Stop with this imaginary fucking leftist. Let's do the AOC betrayal to AOC, and then yeah, since I already talked about Anna, and I feel like I've now demonstrated that from my conversation with that centrist guy, quote unquote. Let's do the AOC betrayal thing, and then we'll play the alien demo, yeah?
New York progressive Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has endorsed President Joe Biden's 2024 re-election
The reason
bid.
why I
Let's
question
watch.
if he was a troll or
So
not.
president's only primary opponents are Marianne Williamson.
Wait, excuse me? Wait a minute. Has this been Jon Favreau this entire time? Okay. I'm gonna crack an egg on my head right now. Every time I heard about Pod Save America, I thought when they mentioned Jon Favreau, I thought they meant the Jon Favreau. I mean, I guess this guy is the Jon Favreau, but you know what I mean. Director of Iron Man and other good movies, Chef and stuff like that. Shit, I didn't know this. I didn't know there was another Jon Favreau. Well, fuck. I'm kind of disappointed. God damn it. Okay. I mean, actually, no. I'm not disappointed because I've heard they kind of have cringe takes sometimes. And I don't want Jon Favreau to have cringe takes because I like his movies. I'd rather this Jon Favreau who doesn't make
any
movies.
rumors about anyone else even thinking about jumping in. Will you be
That's
supporting
how this
Joe
guy
Biden
feels.
for re-election?
I believe given that field, yes. I think he's done quite well, given the limitations.
Given that field, wow, what a wow! I didn't know she added that caveat. That like change. Okay.
That we have.
I saw everyone complaining about this, but now I'm already of the side of like she said, given the field, like
presidency.
What do you want her to say?
There are areas that I think were quite strong when he came right out of the gate with the American Rescue Plan. And of course, the Inflation Reduction Act was a massive step in terms of our climate agenda. But, you know, there are also areas that I think
I can see why Sam hates when people wear their AirPods when they call into the show.
In this country, and I think
God, it sounds like
starts
shit.
with the United States Senate. And I think that until we have senators that are willing to stand up and stare the filibuster in the eye and stare a lot of structural issues about the Senate in the United States Senate will be what holds back
you tell it
this
no
country from an enormous amount of progress.
AOC also joined former White House.
Okay, come on. Okay, back me up here. That was like the saltiest transition I've ever seen in my life. Like, holy shit.
Of structural issues about the Senate in the United States.
Fucking run that back, DJ.
This country from an enormous amount of progress. Dude,
I can feel the temperature in that room like raise. Like, oh my god. The fucking fury. Oh man. Oh man.
AOC also joined former White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki
The
on her show
monotone,
yesterday,
too.
talking about her political future. Let's take a
Dude,
look.
they fucking love
in 5 years,
bitching
are you gonna be in
about
Congress?
Jen Psaki.
I mean, maybe. You know, I think
I'm gonna be a cuck for like 1 second. Jen Psaki, love her hair. Great. Love our redheads.
I've
Cool
always
hair.
tried to approach my service in a way of what really
I don't know about
think
this
would be
outfit. I
best
do
for
like the
people.
green. The emerald
And
green
if
with
it would
the
be
it is a
best
good
for
look.
me
It is
to
a good
continue
look.
my service, then I will. If it's best for me to continue my service in a different form, then I hope to do that
like
as
in
well.
the Senate, for example.
Dude, like, come on, man. Like, jeez.
So if you, put those two clips together, She certainly does actually sound like she's suggesting that the Senate's the problem. Maybe I should be in the Senate.
It does sound like that.
Well, I mean, yeah, the
For
Senate
many
is like
progressives,
gridlocked
this
AF.
was a very disappointing moment for her. We are, 18 months out from the actual election. There's plenty of time and opportunity for her to delay her endorsement, even if you think
what?
ultimately she's going to endorse the incumbent.
Then what does it matter? If 18 months out from the what's the difference? If she's going to endorse the guy and there's no other options. See, this already falls apart because she already said given that field. Like, that is the field. You have RFK Jr., Marianne Williamson, or Joe Biden. Like, given that field, I wouldn't hesitate either.
Bernie Sanders endorsed Joe Biden, I believe, the day that he officially announced that he was running. And now here comes AOC, who says specifically, given the
called betting
field
on a
of
winning
candidates that
horse.
exists, I will endorse Joe Biden. Many people look to that and say, well, you were a candidate that got into office as a DSA-aligned candidate whose central issue was Medicare for All, which Joe Biden virulently opposes and says he would veto,
Are they supporting
even if she were able to
either
reform
of
the
those
Senate
two?
in these magical ways.
Also, she's not a DSA representative. She's a representative of a district in New York. I get that she's aligned with the DSA and that like they share values, but like just because, and I don't know what DSA's position is, but if DSA wants to be fucking stupid and like endorse Marianne Williamson, they have all the right to, but that doesn't mean AOC should also follow them on that dumbass path.
And get them to pass it. She is someone who claimed to be a supporter of the $15 minimum wage, which Joe Biden and Chuck Schumer very specifically killed. It was a part of the first COVID relief bill at the beginning of Joe Biden's administration.
She is, and they couldn't get it
part of
through
that package as a must-pass bill.
Manchin and
it's a very
Sinema.
popular policy, as I say all the time. Even Florida voters in 2020.
She's not the president, and she's not in the Senate
but
either.
Chuck Schumer took it out so that would never have to be a question of whether Republicans were going to vote down on the whole COVID relief package, which allowed America to open back up again and get vaccines distributed.
It's almost like she should run for the Senate
again.
Replace
Because
Schumer.
it was taken out not because of any pressure to do so, but because Chuck Schumer, presumably with the approval of Joe Biden, just chose to do so, and there was very little objection apart from Bernie Sanders about that. She did speak out somewhat
considering
against
Schumer and
Biden's choice
Bernie
to
are
bifurcate
in the same house,
social spending aspects of Build Back Better from the infrastructure aspects of Build Back Better in a way that was obviously designed to kill the social spending and again prevent it from being a must-pass bill. And instead of talking about all of that and saying that my support is contingent on him doing more, maybe on the student debt front, for instance, maybe even mentioning the existence.
But what's the leverage here? If we already agree that that there is a 98% chance that she endorses 6 months before the election, then what the fuck is the point? Like what the fuck does the difference make if she does it 18 months? What is it? Nothing. There's no, she has, unfortunately, AOC, progressives in general, don't have leverage. It sucks. I don't like it, but that doesn't mean that like we can pretend that we do.
Existence of something called medical debt in America, which does not exist in any similarly affluent country because other people don't go into bankruptcy because they have healthcare
do you think
bills.
Biden hasn't heard that argument before?
To speak to all of these legitimate failures from the Biden administration and speak to the audience that got her elected. She seems to be, in the context of these interviews, concerned about the small incremental role that she can play in her own personal career as a senator, and that's disappointing to the left.
Same thing with Ukraine. I mean, remember the very tepid attempt that was, I think, was almost a year ago. Now it was probably a full year ago.
I mean, what is she supposed to concern herself with? She's a representative.
Members of the House
gaining more power is the only way you get more of your
very mild criticism of the administration's efforts here.
Agenda.
That was a full year ago. This is still going on with just as much ferocity. Biden is going to send.
Can you guys believe it? Can you guys believe AOC and the squad didn't end the war in Ukraine? Fucking, where are the real progressives? What? They can't stop. They are a minority faction in the minority party in the only house that can, like, affect any legislation before it gets killed in the Senate. What do you want them to do? Like, what? They can't stop the war. I'm sorry.
Cluster bombs to Ukrainian forces, with all we talked about earlier in the show, with all the downside of that. Again, that's not on AOC. She can have whatever view of it she wants, and she and I don't have the same views on a whole lot of policies, but I object to a lot of our Ukrainian strategy and the lack of urging of diplomacy and the lack of realism that this needs to be brought to an end. I would think, based on, as you said, she
I never understand when people say that
candidate.
either.
I know
they'll
this
be like,
is something
we're not demanding enough peace
people on the
talks.
left
Like,
can
what are
find
we
some
supposed to
common
do?
cause.
We
found
tell
some
them
common
get
cause
peace
on
talks,
this.
and they're like,
so
okay.
it is frustrating, not
Okay,
to
boss.
pile on, but it's frustrating that she is doing absolutely
strike.
nothing whatsoever on the front to raise the salience of that.
Yep. And as a counterexample of how she and her caucus could be behaving, you see what the Freedom Caucus is doing right now and how much power they've managed to.
The Freedom Caucus? You mean? Wait a minute. How large? The Freedom Caucus is not a small caucus within the Republican Party in the House. It's a very large party, especially compared to the Progressive Caucus. Keep in mind also the Progressive Caucus is like filled with a bunch of non-progressives, but you know, that aside, they also have leverage if they want to pass anything in their house. And by the way, everything's not going past the Senate, but if they at least want to look like they're legislating, because now that they're empowered, they've been asking for power, and they've been telling their voters, hey, vote for Republicans and we'll do this, vote Republicans and we'll do that. And what have they done? They've lost elections on abortion while they've dicked around in the fucking House the entire time. Like, at the end of the day, the House Freedom Caucus is stronger than the House Progressive Caucus. Again, this is another one of those, do I like it? No. Is that just the way it is? Yes. Like, the Progressive Caucus is not that strong, and especially since there are so many, like, turncoat members, it's also not that, like, cohesive either. Like, comparing these two things are so different. How many people got, no, because I'm tired. I am actually kind of tired. Oh no, what is it? Wasn't it the Tea Party caucus? And originally, Tea Party caucus. Because if I remember correctly, I want to know how many people they got it. Oh my God, fucking Michelle Bachmann. Jesus H. Christ. No, I want to know members. House. Okay. Between 2010 and retirement 2015. Oh my God. Wasn't Michelle Bachmann that dipshit who's like, we have the power of the purse. We'll bankrupt the executive branch or something. Wasn't that her? Let's see. It was defeated 2016. Committee had 48 members. Let's see. I want to know what their starting members were. Former members. Yeah, okay, let's see. Several members of the Tea Party caucus are part of the Republican Party. Tom Price served as chairman. Other former members. But I want to know. Former members. But I want to know who. Where's the roll call? I want the roll call. 50 National Conservatives. Dissolved in 2016. I also know they're talking about the Freedom Caucus. Succeeded by the Freedom Caucus. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. I remember. Let's see. If I do like starting members, will that? House Speaker, Battle has no. God damn it. I just want to know how many they started with. Because, like, comparing the squad to the fucking Freedom Caucus or the Tea Party caucus is fucking stupid. There's such different movements, especially in terms of their ability to actually, like, swing votes. Because they weren't nearly as small as the squad is. God damn it. No, I don't. Should we just presume that these are the initial members? The 112? Maybe this is it? So what do they have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? Along with all these fuckers? Also considering what's it called? The what's the word I'm looking for? The Republicans usually are working with really small margins a lot of the time. Also, that also helps their cause. But either way, this is not a I think a reasonable criticism. I think it's like fair, but it would be the same as like comparing I don't know, fucking I don't know. I can't think of any. I can't think of an analogy right now. It'd be like comparing like fucking Granny Smith apples to like green apples. Those aren't the same, I'm assuming, right? Let's hope that they're not. But it's like, are they both apples? Yes. Are they very different in terms of taste, texture, and color and everything else? Also, yes. Like,
extract from a narrow majority. The exact same
Hopefully
narrow
Granny
majority
Smiths
that
aren't the
progressives
green
had
ones.
at the beginning of Joe
red
Biden's
ones and the green ones.
administration.
That's all you need to know.
Progressives at the time wanted them to withhold their vote for Nancy Pelosi being Speaker of the House in
Oh
exchange for
my
various
God, we're
concessions.
still on this.
They did not. The Freedom Caucus did, and they got some very meaningful ones. They basically control what bills can.
Again, the Freedom Caucus has nothing to lose if they do that because their party doesn't actually pass anything. The Democrats, on the other hand, actually have an interest in passing things, meaning that if they like Republicans, when they did this to when the Freedom Caucus did this, there was no sacrifice. If they don't pass anything, same thing with what happened with the recent fight about Kevin McCarthy's speakership. If they don't pass anything, if they can't do anything, guess what? Nothing changes. They don't pass anything in the Senate, so they don't have to pass anything anyway. Whereas for the Democrats, especially in this session that she's talking about in 2020, Democrats had control of all three branches, meaning that there was actual change that could actually move forward. So there would actually be a real tangible loss in legislative progress. Like, it's the difference between like, we'll take no steps or we'll take no steps. And the difference between we'll take 2 steps or we'll take no steps. 2 steps is better than no steps.
And come to the House floor right now because of appointments that they got on various committees from Congressman McCarthy. There was real power at stake, and so much of the Democratic Party's game, because I think a lot of Democratic Party voters are really well-meaning and they want a lot of good things, and there's this broader
Democratic Party voters sadly just don't pay that much attention to
core
politics.
of America that agrees on common sense gun control and healthcare reform and $15 minimum wage and all of this kind of stuff. But they believe, Democrats uniquely are credulous about their party's ability to do X, Y, and Z. And this fiction about, well, it's not our fault, it's just that the Senate won't go along with it. We know that's a fiction because we saw exactly how Barack Obama behaved with a supermajority. We heard the promises about how, well, if you just elect a Democrat, we'll...
Yeah, you're right. Progressive Barack Obama. Yeah,
One more time, we're gonna codify Roe. We're gonna pass the Equal Rights Amendment. Obama
yeah, I
did
know.
not do those things.
Centrist Democrats don't actually pass popular things.
It very much looks like they're set to do the exact same thing with student debt reform, because now Biden's Plan B, trying again through the Higher Education Act, because there's a notice and comment period, it would take us into his second term. And you can already see them lining up on TV, Ro Khanna and other giving interviews saying, well, you got to vote for Joe Biden if you ever want student debt reform. And so it feels like this carrot, stick, bait, and switch dance that is enabled by people who have progressive bona fides like AOC does, telling the public that this is the most that they can expect.
You know, it speaks...
Wait, when did AOC even say that? She said that they got a lot done given the circumstances, but there was more to do, which is true. Again, at the end of the day, AOC is not like nuking her political career so she can be replaced by some other centrist establishment Democrat. Why would any of us want that to begin with? I want AOC in Congress, in the House, in any of it, in politics for the rest of her goddamn life, because I know that she's a secure vote for Medicare for all. If she does nothing else, that is what I can trust her to do. And at the end of the day, she needs to stay there by towing the line in some way. But in this way, it's not even towing the line. What are the options? There aren't any. Your options are a fucking vax quack and Stone Woman. Those are your options. I'm sorry we don't have better ones, but it's just the way it is. I'm sorry. Being an adult is accepting reality and not constantly wanting to opining over
this
your most
phenomenon
imagined
of the Democratic
option.
Party becoming the home for conformists, frankly, from people who listen and trust authority, follow orders, respect rules, respect process. who are not combative
Briahna,
or
why are you
feisty,
accepting this framing?
temperamentally. That's what a Democratic representative is, and that's what the constituency or the highly educated viewers, readers,
all of that
etc.
authoritarian
mainstream
nonsense is all
news, where
right-wing,
on the Republican side,
appeal.
it's the Real Housewives. Sometimes it's nasty. It's reality TV. Their standard bearer is a star of reality TV. But there's actual. But I'm saying people make fun of that. But there's actual political argument going on.
For sure.
Are there? Because let's be honest here. Republicans get the fucking line. We already know that Ted Cruz, after his wife got insulted, eventually bent the fucking knee and phone banked for Trump. We were all here. We all remember that. So like, don't give me this. Like, Republicans are going to vote for whatever the red line is on their name. Like, whatever R is next to their name. Like, Republicans, how many like Republicans have you met that have like the like say stuff like Democrat and have shirts that are like, I'd rather be Russian than Democrat or whatever weird shit like that. Like, come on, like, get the fuck out of here. Go to a fucking gun show and then come talk to me.
That exists on the Republican side, but the overwhelming majority of Republican voters, Trump lost because people were over his antics. Trump lost because he couldn't keep it together for an election season, and he was saying all this wild stuff in the context of the COVID pandemic. So
also, didn't he lose? He lost independents more than he lost Republicans.
More of an appetite among the Freedom Caucus for this kind of adversarial politics than among this so-called squad. But I don't know that, I think that generally speaking, elites, middle class, upper middle class people are all looking for stability and bipartisanship and all of these buzzwords. It's really just working class people and poor people of both parties who are driving the populist movement for looking for more straightforward candidates who are telling them the truth. And AOC ran for Congress saying she was going to bring the ruckus. She ran for Congress saying, quote, in any other country, Joe Biden and I would not be in the same party. Well, if you feel so strong.
Well, yeah. Oh, don't do it. Don't do this. Start a new party. It's not.
That you should not be in the same party as Joe Biden. Why on earth, a year and a half before an election, are you choosing to weigh in with an endorsement instead of saying, well, we deserve to have more candidates if you don't like the candidates that have already thrown their hat in the ring?
Who? I'm going to ask this every fucking time. Who? Stop with this imaginary fucking leftist. This fucking imaginary, like, 20-year, 30, 40 fucking year younger Bernie. They're not there. It's a fucking mirage. Your options are RFK Jr. and Marianne Williamson. If you like those options, vote for them. If you don't, then don't. But for fuck's sake, stop imagining a pretend perfect fucking leftist candidate that isn't there. I don't know how we can possibly move forward as a movement, as a leftist movement. How the fuck do we move forward when we can't get past these simple calculus, these simple arithmetic, that we don't have a candidate? I'm sorry, that sucks, but we don't. We don't have anybody viable. If Biden fucking kicks the bucket, it's down to fucking Kamala and the other two. But those are the options. If somebody else was going to rise up, they would have had to done it quite a while ago. But enough of this. Oh, well, why doesn't she just say, like, oh, if somebody else, maybe if somebody else steps up. Why don't you step up? If you want a fucking leftist candidate that lives up to your fucking values and they're not there yet, and you are so aggrieved about this entire endorsement process, then get in the fucking race or shut the fuck up. Because I'm tired of it. I'm not doing this debate a million times over the way Force the Vote happened. You can either take reality as it is or you can leave it. But Jesus fucking Christ, move the fuck on. There isn't another one. We don't have a younger Bernie. I'm sorry. I love the fucking guy too. But like, he's not running again. And we don't have an heir to that throne yet. So how about this? Let's try to find ourselves a candidate one of these days and start prepping them a little bit earlier than 18 months than out of an election. God, like Briahna Joy Gray has like 100th my education and like 5,000th my political experience. She was a spokeswoman for Bernie Sanders, and I do not know how she cannot live in the reality that we are living in right now, how she can be this unattached to the corporeal realm. I just don't know how you do it.
Why have the Progressive Caucus not been putting their heads together in anticipation of 2024 to run someone who can be the standard bearer for the issues that they said they cared so much about when they got our money and our votes from the progressive flank, people giving their last $27, poor and working class people to support these kinds of campaigns?
Yeah, I'm saying temperamentally the Democratic Party is shifting into something that just doesn't practice that kind of shtick, that kind of bring the ruckus. They don't bring the ruckus.
It's just a brand. It was a branding exercise.
Yeah.
And you see this a lot now. I mean, AOC, ironically, she was...
Oh my God, politics is branding. Holy shit. Winning elections is branding? Winning elections is marketing? Holy fuck, when did that happen? Oh my God. What do you... Oh, the Progressive Caucus needs to find somebody. It puts their heads together and pick... What? You're basically asking one of them to step up. And if none of them are like, keep in mind, again, when we say Progressive Caucus, that is, I think, about 160 members. Now, take out of that 160 members, you have maybe what, 30 maybe that are actual progressives. And then all of those people who have not been in office very long, you want them to run a presidential campaign? You want AOC to run a presidential campaign? Are you out of your fucking mind? Bernie has been in the Senate for a bajillion years, and he still lost 2 presidential primaries.
A critic of the weaponization of identity politics that was happening at the time. She said it's not enough for you just to vote for people who are black or Latino or female or whatever, that you have to look at their substantive politics. Where is that discussion now? Richie Torres, who holds himself out as a progressive because he's black, Latino, and gay in New York City, is out here basically tweeting out AIPAC talking points about the murders, all of that's going on in Jenin in Israel and Palestine right now. Where is the pushback from the squad about the rhetoric that he's putting out about that? When's the last time they were forcefully having a discussion about freeing Julian Assange?
Yeah. Again, that's for
on that a
Republicans and then people who are not Republicans but are outside the Democratic coalition, like RFK Jr. and Marianne Williamson.
What Julian Assange? What fucking average regular ass American, given their last $7.25, gives a shit about Julian Assange? Not that Julian Assange isn't important, but like that's the thing you want them to stick their neck out for Julian fucking Assange? Come on.
Type people.
And Cornel West is running for office.
Green Party, and like
Do you have
it's
no
all
respect
the
for
outside.
Cornel West was in the fucking People's Party. Stop it.
One of the most popular
Cornel West
podcasts in America. This liberal touchstone, for her not to use that opportunity to inform
Cornel
the public
West's,
that there are even these other
campaign's a
candidates in the
joke,
race. Say
which
you're
is
not
depressing.
ideologically aligned with RFK Jr. Marianne Williamson is literally running on the Bernie platform. And you could say something like, I don't know if I'm confident in her ability to succeed, but I'm so glad that she's in the race, keeping these issues alive. She could say, I'm so glad that someone as respected and renowned as Cornel West is in this race, and I strongly support third parties and Green Party candidates.
Did not say either of those things.
And she could also say, if you're concerned about spoiler effects and Green Party candidates, then it is incumbent on Democrats to stop trying to protect their power by actively attacking every ranked choice voting effort, every effort to get us past the post voting that springs up.
Do you think any normie knows what the fuck ranked choice voting is? Honest to God, do you think anybody actually knows? Like, I know what it is. I support ranked choice voting, but has like anybody done the work? Has the work even begun to try to educate Americans about ranked choice voting? No, it hasn't. The next bite at the apple we are going to get is in 2028. And we can either we can play fucking footsie in 24 and, pitch a fit about the mystery vacant person who's not running this year, or we can begin to strategize. Those are your two options.
By ballot initiative. But the reason that both the Democratic party.
Better for our country than getting that done.
Both Democrats and Republicans oppose ranked choice voting.
Of course they do.
Because it preserves their power and enables them to say
Absolutely.
every single election cycle, you have to vote for us, even though we're substantively ignoring your interests.
Yeah, that's called
because
leverage.
otherwise the other guy is going to win.
It's a binary choice between us or the people you hate. And say, well, give us more
Yep.
choices. Change the system so that there are better choices. Well, of course they're not going to do that.
They're never going to do that. So I said in the last 5 to 10 minutes what I think could be very useful for AOC
None
to
of it's
say
useful.
using her
0%
platform.
of it is
I
useful.
am not invited on
All of it
shows
is
like
stupid.
Pod Save America, and I would like to see someone like AOC and the rest of this.
All of it is, quite frankly, just it's just a refusal to accept reality as it is. All right, we're done with this. God damn, I did not expect to have such an outburst. I apologize to all the folks out there. I'm sorry I yelled. I know it's very shocking for me to yell. I don't usually yell that much. It's just fucking stupid. Like I can't stand it. You know the thing that they tell, like at the end of all YouTube videos where they tell you to like click on one of these like things to watch more videos. Yeah, I've been meaning to film one of those. So that's what I was doing. I was just setting it up to film one.